Hello? I wonder if I just want to make sure the volume is on. Hello? Oh.
We can hear you.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and get started. Ned, you can go ahead and ask the first question.
Afternoon, Kurt.
Ned.
Now that you've had a chance to watch the film from the last game, has there been anything that was better than you thought? And is there anything that you think you guys need improvement on?
Like every game, it's never as good, never as bad as you think.
Correct.
So I love the energy that we got off the bench. Certainly I thought Beatrice's minutes in the first quarter were huge for us to get momentum back and swung in our direction, which allowed us to stay within striking distance and make a late first quarter run at them. Our bench was great. AT's energy, just willed the entire team with her to play hard. With that said, we had a lot of defensive lapses, defensive missed assignments that true to the scouting report, and you're always going to have some slippage in games, but you would be able to go back and micromanage all those and look at the slippage that we have. And we've got to try to lessen the amount of defensive coverages, mistakes, or slippage that we're having. But I loved our want. I loved our will, and we played hard. And when we weren't perfect, we found a way to win, and we found a way for only the fourth time or some statistic like that all season for Chicago to keep them under 70.
Thank you.
Alexa?
Hi, Kurt. I've 2 or 3 questions for you. So Chicago obviously known more for its offense than its defense. They've had a pretty good run, I'd say, defensively throughout the playoffs. I'm just curious if there's anything that you've seen them really improve upon on that end of the floor that you think's been giving you all trouble in the series. So maybe we'll start there.
Well, again, I think you've heard it from their players. At one point before the Olympic break, they were, in the top 3 defensively in almost all the statistics. They lack some regular season consistency out of the postseason, post-Olympic break, but they've had stretches this season that they've been terrific defensively. They are really long. Candace Parker, I coached her one year, is incredibly long. Azare Stevens is incredibly long. Astu is incredibly long in those, post positions. So, and Stephanie Dolson's, really, really long. So they got great length in the post so they can have rim protection. They can congest you that way. And then they got great athleticism with Diamond and Copper and then your savvy veterans. So they are really smart. They're well coached and they're long. So I would never say that they're not a good defensive team. They're just such an offensive juggernaut. It's what people talk about. It's like when we were good offensively, no one talked about our defense. This year, when we're so good defensively, no one talks that, in a lot of the offensive statistics, we still grade out in the top 3 or 4 in the league in almost everything.
Gotcha. On the other side of the ball, you guys, especially after that fourth quarter of the last game, it seems like maybe you're building momentum defensively. And I'm curious, when you're in this series format, and now you'll be playing at least until game 4, because of that, does that give your group confidence that you can continue to make the defensive tweaks to really buckle down, especially have better starts? I think that's one thing that maybe it was pre-January I had mentioned, like the defense has to be better from the start so you guys don't fall into a hole like the last 2 games. How does that, give you confidence, like working in a series format where you're going to be able to tweak as you go on?
Yeah, certainly, winning cures a lot of evils, right? It's build our confidence back up, and it's a series now, best of 3 with a huge game 3. And we did a lot of things that we wanted to do. We got the game, we got their shooting percentages down. We got the total point total down. We guarded the paint better. Again, the game was much longer for game one, but when you look at 50 plus points in the paint, now they're under 30 points in the paint. That's where they've dominated teams all season in the paint. We accomplished a lot of good things. We know we can be even better in some areas. So, we're optimistic that we can be successful defensively against this team that we have tremendous respect for offensively.
Last one for me. We talked a little bit about JJ struggling with the physicality from the onset of game two. Was that just something that you thought they were, like, Chicago was making more of a deliberate effort to come out with the physical play against her? Because obviously in game one, she was doing really well from the onset. And does that also change, I guess, like the sorts of looks you're trying to get her so that she can be more productive now?
You were a little bit choppy, Alexa, but I think I got the point. So they did a good job countering from game 1 to 2, right? We went from, they got a boatload of points in the paint, and Vandersloot, orchestrated to that high assist total. We obviously made some adjustments and made better. Obviously, a ton of points combined between Brianna Jones and JJ in game 1. They did a much better job, taking away just the simple catch. Nothing came easy. Nothing was easy with our back to the basket. So they sent more congestion. They made our catches harder. It's little things that both teams did that they were successful. We've got to handle that physicality. We've got to continue to get the ball in the paint in a variety of ways. We struggled a little bit to get JJ and Bree Jones touches compared to game 1. So it became more of a pick and roll game, and you saw more pocket passes, and you saw more attacking ATs, and you saw, a different type of attack as the game went on. And we found some momentum and success in that fourth quarter, and it got a very important win. But, again, what's the adjustments both teams make? And then we've got to find in-game adjustments, and that'll be the key. Who can, as we realize and it becomes clear what the game adjustments for both teams are, the in-game adjustments will ultimately, start a big part of the story at the end.
Great, thank you.
Jackie?
Hey, Kurt, good to see you. Glad that you all are there in one piece. On the subject of travel, actually, Joe Tsai took to Twitter to comment on, what you had told us on Thursday it was? I can't even remember the days. Or was it Friday? Anyway, yeah, it was Thursday. And he noted that he's working with Kathy on finding a charter sponsor, and he's been in talks with airline CEOs. I'm just curious what your response to that is, and if you've heard anything about what's going on there.
No, this is the first I'm hearing that Joseph made a comment, so I haven't seen it. Hard for me to comment on it. Obviously, it alludes to charters, but again, I just wanted the respect of what these great players go through. It was not, as much as someone's wrong in this whole thing. It's just, this is what our league goes through. Like, this is what our players are going through today. My staff split up. My players are split up. In a day where you could still have some prep, you could still be together talking about things with your teammates, with your coaching staffs, with your staff. We're all spread out, and we're preparing for, things that ultimately affect all of our professional lives. These kind of things affect us. And, that was my thing, is to have just respect to what our players go through, how we have to travel in a COVID still pandemic. We're trying to avoid middle seats. We're trying, to get there. And now we're using multiple airports and multiple flights. Ultimately, there's nothing we can do about it. And so our players, said the great things, like, it is what it is. We just got to get there and then get back together as a team. It's unfortunate we can't travel together. We lose that opportunity to be together for this prep time, for this bonding time, for all that. I didn't see the comments, Jackie, so I can't comment on your specific question.
Sure. But I appreciate the answer. Now on something completely different, I want to pose a hypothetical to you. What would this team look like without Jasmine Thomas?
Oh, that's an interesting question. We would be, she's been our leader. So, it would seem like it would be, we'd have a different type of rudder. I talk about how leaders from a coaching staff position to a great player leader is, maybe that rudder is a little bit shakier. Fortunately, we have multiple great veteran leaders in the locker room, but she's always been there. And what I think it impacts us too, the on court is one thing, her defense, she sets the tempo for us defensively. Offensively, she's a terrific catch and shoot player and a selfless player, but it's off the court, Jackie, it's off the court. She models the best in our franchise of community service, and all the causes that she's involved in, from KYAO and all her cancer support, to the shoes for underprivileged children, everything that she gets involved in, she models better than anyone in our franchise of it's bigger than basketball. It's bigger than basketball. She's are most comfortable with social activism and using her voice, using her platform. She's involved with the most charities. She's involved with the most community service. She's a visible presence in our community when those opportunities are available and we're not necessarily in COVID times. So we would lose a tremendous role model for younger players on what it looks like to be a professional. It's off the court. And then that off the court nutrition, the off the court on how, she prepares her body. You lose someone that models so much on what it looks like to be a professional athlete.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that answer very much.
Thanks, Kurt. You're all set.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone, we'll go ahead and get started and open up some questions for Brianna Jones and Kyla Charles. Whoever would like to go first, please raise your hand and address who you're speaking to. Jackie?
Hello, good afternoon to both of you. So this is actually a question for both of you. So I posed this hypothetical to Kurt and I said, what would this team look like without Jasmine Thomas? So if you need to think about it for a moment, that's fine, but that's the question.
Yeah, this team would be a lot different without Jazz. I mean, she's our point guard. She runs the team. We're always listening to her on the court, off the court, and everything. She brings this voice and this energy every day, and it's contagious. So I think we feed off of her. So I think just having her is great.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of Bree, like she's our captain, our leader. We kind of follow her. Sometimes she doesn't get as much as the limelight, but she, gets our team going. She's always bringing energy. She's always that voice, whether it's, trying to pick us up, encourage us, hold us accountable. So she's a really big part of this team and this whole program. She's been here for a while. She's been here as they've been building it up, and she's played a big role in that.
Yeah, I think I said it before, but in training camp, she came a little late, and just not having her voice in practice those few days that she was out, you could tell it was just drastically different. We're missing her voice, her leadership that she's had, every year that I've been here.
I appreciate that. And to follow up on this theme of Jasmine, for both of you, I want to understand when you were first starting out in the league. So Bree, for you, that was 2017, and Kyla, that was 2020. That was the wobble. So I want to understand how she was able to provide both of you with the confidence that you needed to get to sort of where you are in the league now.
Jazz has, you're talking about Jazz, right? So,
Yes.
Oh yeah. So even from the beginning, like my first couple days, when I came in 2017, she took me to dinner, and we just talked just to like meet up with some players and just talk about what it's going to look like going into the league, and that was great for me. Just get that first introduction, and that just shows her leadership right there for my first year coming in, taking a rookie out to dinner just to get to know him. So that was great for me, and then ever since then, she's always been like one of my biggest supporters. I think I think coming into this season, she always knew, even more so than I thought. She's like, Bri, I know you're gonna be good. Like, we know how hard you work and everything, and everything's gonna pay off this season. So just to see her, how emotional she got, when me and JJ won our awards, it was just great to be able to give that back to her.
Yeah, similar to Bree, Jazz has always been in my ear since day one, just trying to get to know who I am as a person. But then on the court, she's always helping me out, always encouraging me, always reminding me that I'm here for a reason and to play confidently and that the team needs me in whatever role that I play here. So she's just been a great voice of encouragement. And she just loves to bring her teammates up, everybody, every single one of us, because we need everybody, for us to go make a deep playoff run like we're doing now and to hopefully win the championship. We're going to need everybody. So she knows as a leader to pick up her teammates and to make sure that we're all on the same page.
Great. And the final one for me, I guess listening to both of you talk about this, it sort of sounds like she's the emotional director of traffic. So, she's making sure that everyone emotionally is in a comfortable space. Am I misinterpreting that, or is that sort of a bit accurate?
I would say that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. She can sense if you're if you're down or you're not yourself. Like some days if I'm quiet, she's like, what's wrong? Like, are you okay? Like you're not your normal self. You don't have the normal energy. So she always kind of knows when someone's a little off or a little down on themselves, and she's always there to pick you up.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you both. I appreciate it. And good luck tomorrow too.
Thank you.
Alexa?
Hey guys, my internet's a little shaky today, so if you can't hear me, I'll just message my question to Annette. But my first question is for Breezy. We talked about before how you were with AT at that practice when she tore her Achilles. And so I'm curious for you to be with her basically at one of the lowest points of her life or her professional career, and to see like what she did 2 days ago to help like propel you guys to victory. Like what kind of goes through your head when you see just what she's been through the last, 8-9 months?
Yeah, I mean, I think initially I'm just like, well, she's back, we've been waiting for this moment for her to get back and just, feel like herself. So just for her to be able to do that and have the game that she did last game is extraordinary. But, seeing her, have that injury in practice that day, it's just tough because you know how hard AT works every day and comes into practice, and just to be able to see her, go down like that, it was hard. But I mean, if anybody I knew that was gonna fight back to be here for this team, it was gonna be her. And the way that she's done it has been great. She's still been with us like on the court, in our ear, like as a an extra coach almost this whole season. So I think she's just having that perspective has changed her outlook on the game, and it's just gonna make her even better.
Gotcha. And then both of you could answer this either, but just going into game 3. Are you guys focusing mostly on the defensive end and the offensive end, a little bit of both? What are some of, now that this is like kind of the chess match stage of the series where you're making adjustments?
Alexa, are you all set?
Sorry, did my
cutting?
internet go out?
Oh, yes, cut out. Sorry.
Sorry about that. I basically, either of you could answer this, but I just was asking like what sorts of adjustments you're looking at making, like on both ends of the floor. Is there one side you're focused?
I think there's adjustments on both sides of the floor. We still haven't played our best game yet, and we know that. So I think just going in, we're focused on, first off, our defense, because that leads to our offense. So getting stops in, just making sure that we're executing our game plan exactly the way we want to, and just making sure that we're all on the same page for 40 minutes. I think that's our main goal. And then offensively, there's still some things that we can clean up on that side of the floor too. And I think once we put it all together, it's clicking for us. It's gonna be great for us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, ladies. You're all set.